Yo, what's up? Welcome back to Concrete Reality TV, where we strive to know more and do more with what we know. We decided to do a go live today because for the last couple of days, it's been a great topic that's been trending. It's an older topic. It's been going on for about a year, but it kind of picked up a little bit more steam, dealing with critical race theory. So we bringing in our hosts. We're going to bring in Cutter. You know, he's the voice of the show. What up, Cutter? How you doing, man?
What's good, man? I'm enjoying me nice little glass of Cabernet tonight. You know what I'm saying? Ready for this topic. What's good, people?
And we got that boy Gillum. What up, Gillum? Funny man, bringing the humor to the show as usual. What up? How you doing, brother?
Every day above ground's a great day. You know what I'm doing? Smoking and sipping, get it done. Let's
Yeah,
go.
yes, sir. And we also got a special guest. We got that boy Ron. He's gonna be coming in, and we're gonna be discussing the CRT topic. What's up, Ron? How you doing, brother?
How y'all tonight?
Say we doing good, man. I'm glad to have you. Welcome to the show.
Glad to be here.
Hey, Ron's our first guest. What's up, Ron? You the
Hey,
first
yeah,
guest.
yeah, yeah.
You
Oh,
actually,
Yes,
yeah,
man.
you kind of popped our cherry on this thing.
Yeah.
Y'all better mark this one. Y'all gonna have to mark this one, man.
I, I'm a, I'm
History
a,
is
I'm
about
Yes, sir.
to be
I'm a,
made.
I'm
Yes,
about to
sir.
run. Me and Ron go back 12 years. We
Yep.
actually met. We met online, man, through some mutual friends, and he started coming to my events. I came to a lot of his events. He's an entrepreneur as well,
Mm-hmm.
from car dealerships to trucking, everything. You know what I'm saying? So Ron's a good guy. He's definitely gonna tell you a little about himself. So I'm gonna let him introduce himself a little bit.
Oh,
Ron,
that's
go
what's
on and
up.
introduce yourself to the people, man.
Well, I'm just Run. I'm here to add to the conversation, like I always do
Mm-hmm.
on social media or even live in person. Everybody got a perspective. So, you know, um, probably a little older than you gentlemen here, so I'm going to bring angle of aged wisdom to this program tonight.
Oh, that's what's up.
I like that. I like that. I like that. Let's go. Let's get it popping, fellas.
That's what I'm talking about. So I guess we'll jump on in the first topic, or this pretty much the main topic, man. Basically, it was a comment with Condoleezza Rice. She was on The View, and she sparked this dialogue with everyone when she made some comments
Mm,
on on
mm.
critical race theory. So I'm gonna bring her up on here so we can check it
Condoleezza
out.
Rice.
So I wanted to add that Dave Chappelle little link on there, but I couldn't find it. So we just gonna go with the topic, everything what she spoke on today. And basically it was about the critical race theory, her opinion about it. And let's see if I can bring her up. I'm gonna share
So,
it. Oh,
so
there it
producer,
is. Yes,
so
sir.
producer, make sure you have the definition ready because I know you already got it ready for a cup
Oh yeah,
for critical
definitely.
race theory. Thank you so much, sir. Because
Say
a
yes,
lot of
sir.
people out looking, they don't know what it is. They just
Well,
think, hey, I
I
don't know.
listened to it. Cutter had the clip on his Facebook page, and
Okay, so you already tasted it.
I agree with Condoleezza Rice on the what she was stating in regards to critical race theory
Mm-hmm.
involved in intermediate education, kindergarten level,
Oh yeah.
elementary level. She
Mm-hmm.
was right. First of all, we got to really understand what critical race theory is. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
nobody really knows what it is, but we all talking about it.
Oh yeah,
Go ahead, go ahead,
definitely.
go ahead, go
So
ahead.
before I play
Producer, gonna get
her,
into it.
I give
Let, let, let's
you
let us play the clip, and then
so
we'll
play the clip,
respond
then
after the
we'll go
clip.
into it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'll play the clip and then we'll go in from there. I'll share my screen and give me 1 second. Share screen. Miss Condoleezza. Share.
Miss Condoleezza Rice.
Okay. And can y'all
Be
see
sure,
that?
yeah, be sure to
Mm-hmm.
put it on full screen when you play it from YouTube. E.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You gotta turn it up. Yeah, we can't hear anything.
Turn it up, E. We can't hear.
That's loud as it goes.
Oh man, that sucks.
Mm,
Cause we can't hear nothing. Is your computer
yeah.
all the way up? Your sound from your
Mm, it
It might be
may.
YouTube too.
Yeah, I think it's a YouTube thing. That's the loudest that she goes. Well, that volume goes on YouTube. Let me check and see.
if it's another
Another link. Let me see. Critical race theory view. Oh no. Bam. Let's see what she got.
That's the first. The volume ain't working.
yeah, cause normally it's loud as hell.
It's loud as hell. Yeah, no, it's loud as hell. As soon as he
That's
turn it on, he be loud. Be like, God damn, E.
So it's coming up. Let me see. No,
if you
that's
want me to
the.
play mine, I
Yeah,
think
go
mine's
on yours and see if it'll be a little louder.
Yeah.
And then while you're doing that, I stop sharing my screen,
okay.
and then
Well,
I'll go through the definition while we wait.
there you go. Ahead. Good, good,
So
good.
while we waiting, I give y'all the definition of critical race theory. So critical race theory is a body of legal scholarship and an academic movement of U.S. civil rights scholars and activists who seek to critically examine the intersection of race and U.S. law and to challenge mainstream American liberal tolerant, that's what I call it, liberal tolerant approaches to racial justice and also injustice or the lack thereof. So is
Sound like
one
a
of
bunch
those.
of bullshit to me.
Yeah,
But
because
anyway,
all
go
it
ahead.
is, it's supposed to be. It started off as a college level
Yeah.
law school curriculum, and basically, it's supposed to go into detail about more of the legislation regarding blacks and racism, dealing with the American history. But it's supposed to be a upper level course. But they are rumored, quote unquote, that they were thinking about putting it in like high school, maybe junior high, but mostly they hadn't even really discussed it. It was a rumor. And, they took the rumor and ran with the thing to try to make it a platform for other, agendas, political agendas to scare the shit out of white folk. So, but it wasn't ever supposed to be in school. It was just one of those rumors that, hey, they might put it in school and then they gon' teach your kids and such and all that and blah blah blah. So that's what it ended up being. And that's where it is now. It's not in schools, not no plans of putting it in schools, but they're treating it as if it's a threat. So, Ron, what you got on there?
Um, it is in the schools,
Which one?
and it is in the See, let me explain something
You
to
see
you
them
guys
talking about?
about critical race theory and the scholarship behind it. One thing you got to understand, I'm critical about critical race theory
Uh-huh.
because the so-called scholarship behind it, who are these scholars? Have they named them?
Mm-hmm.
One thing that you got to understand,
Mm-hmm.
anytime something is heavily being pushed toward us as a people, you got to be critical about it.
Oh,
You just
definitely.
can't jump on the wagon,
Mm-hmm.
especially when they are putting race on top of it. You got to be extra careful about that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me give y'all a little background about me.
Gotcha.
I actually grew up in a private critical race theory school.
What you mean?
I grew up in the Nation of Islam where we talked about race. I went to
Ah,
private school where we talked about the black man and the white man critically. And we did it in a manner to educate our children the truth and the difference. And it came from our scholarship, it came
Mm-hmm.
from our origin, it came from our people. You got to be very suspicious about where the origin of these theories come from and why is it important to go to children. I know why it was important to go to me, because we were taught in public schools
Mm-hmm.
through education that we were nobody.
Mm-hmm.
We were taught all through the education system in the history, it reflects that we are inferior. Critical race theory always in the public school system, except for it was reversed. It was white supremacy. White
Mm-hmm.
supremacy is in the public school system, and it was critical race theory for little white kids over us.
Mm-hmm.
That's the truth. Now,
Yeah.
when I
Yeah.
was going to elementary school back in the 70s, and when our parents was going to school, they didn't have images to look at. My grandmother and my mother, they learned about Stephen Fetch, and they learned about Little Black Sambo. All this was
Mm-hmm.
taught in schools in a racial form to make them feel inferior.
Mm-hmm.
So let's be careful what we think something that's perceived good for us and examine it very well. Let's not jump on the bandwagon on this. Let's see who are these scholars. Let's see who brought up this and why do you want to feed it to the children? That's an important point, because the children right now is the main subject. No one's complaining about critical race theory in college or in secondary. They're more concerned about it in the elementary schools, and I don't think it needs to be there.
So just to let you know, because you skipped over something, because that's why I asked you. It's not in schools. So you incorrect on that. It's nowhere in schools, in no elementary schools, because it's a college level course. It hadn't even got to high school yet. They're not trying to put it into schools. That's not the point. They call what's happening is they're using critical race theory as a symbol for what people are requesting inside of different courses. So, and what they're asking for is more detailed history. That means they want more information on what really happened with the facts in U.S. government, the legislation, all the laws that they skip over, all of the different laws that they purposely avoid teaching about. That's what they're asking to put back in. So they're not asking for anything unfactual. They're just asking more detail to be put into history classes, but that's starting at a high school level. They hadn't even got to that point. So that's where it's at right now. But what's happening is a lot of conservatives, they're saying, hey, we don't want that in the schools. It's critical race theory, and you're trying to oppress our kids and make our kids feel like that that they should be guilty for what happened or transpired in the past.
And
And
they should be.
but well, no, because that's not the point. The point is, if you tell the truth if you keep it factual, if you explain something and you keep it legitimately
What do you mean the
factual.
truth?
You said what I mean with the truth? Replicable truth. That means that stuff that is documented in legislation straight from the US government. That stuff.
I'm trying to figure out what do you mean the truth. When I was in elementary school, they
Mm-hmm.
had the history of slavery in elementary school. They
You said
had the
what?
history of slavery all the way up to the civil rights movement and the black codes. They had all that stuff in elementary school.
And what elementary school did you go to? Because actually, you said you went to a Muslim school, right?
And
So
in the American history book,
Mm-hmm.
they had the history of America,
Mm-hmm.
including 400 years ago during the slavery, including all the way up to Reconstruction, including all the way up to the Civil Rights Movement. I
in
don't, like I said, I'm
elementary school?
55 years old. I
Hold
don't know
on.
what y'all
Wait, wait,
learned in
wait, wait,
elementary
and
school, but it was in
So
our
you
books.
wait, Ron. So
That's
let
why
me
I'm
make sure
like,
you get this
hold
straight.
on, hold
And
on.
let
I
me
ain't know
explain
nothing
to
about
you
no
something.
damn slavery
Wait.
elementary.
We don't even stop. They don't even have history in elementary school. It's called social studies. They're introducing kids into a familiar atmosphere of learning about each other. They ain't got no damn history in elementary school. You don't get to history until middle school, and that's just the basic introduction of your state and U.S. history.
And if
That's
you
just
in,
introduction,
For
and if
instance,
you in the
basics.
state,
for instance,
and if
So
you
what are
hold
in
you
on.
talking
Let
about?
me say something.
Go ahead.
Because we were all raised in Texas, correct?
because we got
Exactly.
Texas
And
So
you
history.
say
we
you
had
older.
Texas.
You
We
need to
had
check
We
the
got Texas history.
we had Texas history. We learned about General Custer.
age.
We learned
We learned
about
about
the
Daniel
Alamo.
Boone,
We
the
learned
Daniel Boone.
we learned about the Alamo.
And they
Mm-hmm.
didn't say shit about no Alamo actually being in support of slave labor. Did you know that? No, they were fighting for damn slaves. That's what Texas was for. They were trying to keep their right to be a slave state. That's why the
Yep.
U.S. didn't let them in when they first tried to become put into the states, accepted into the Union. They were fighting to maintain slavery, so they didn't let Texas in when they first fought the war and got their independence. They were fighting
So,
for fucking slavery.
so
So
Hold on, y'all. Hold on, because
calm down, calm down.
I
I
don't
can't,
want Ron to
I
think
can
we
barely
came
hear
here
you.
and I don't want Ron to think that we came in here to jump him
Yeah, that's what I'm
into
saying.
his
Hold on,
theory.
well,
hold on, hold on.
well, remember his feelings.
I can
So I
barely
mean,
hear
if
what
it's
you're saying.
so, well, I'm loud. I guess the volume is up. I can't scream or yell anymore.
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure if you can with the volume or anything because I turned it up. Well,
What
I'm up loud, pretty loud. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
yeah,
I can
you
hear
loud.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
can hear you.
loud, Professor. I need you to tone it down. Though. I need you to like turn me down like 3 notches, dog. Hey, hey. So we talk about Texas. So in middle school, I learned about Texas history. I learned about the Alamo. I learned about Daniel Boone, David Crockett, and I learned about General Santa Anna, who they beat with like 3 dudes. And I know that ain't true because I know they got their ass kicked. Because Santa Ana had a huge army.
Yeah.
So,
I learned
so
about we actually watched the what was that documentary on
So
Santa
we're
Ana?
talking about grades from kindergarten to the 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about grades from kindergarten to the 8th grade. When I
Mm-hmm.
was in intermediate school, that's where it went to. It went from kindergarten to 8th grade. When the ninth to actually it went to the 9th grade. Now that was junior high from intermediate school to junior high school. Now once we got to junior high school, it was 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Mm-hmm.
High school was 10th grade and on up. So from intermediate school,
Mm-hmm.
which is elementary school, to junior high school. So in junior high school, we had American history, we had world history. All of that is lumped in to intermediate. Then you go to high school. Not only that, we also had libraries in the elementary school. Now, when I went to public school, I had
Mm-hmm.
a black teacher named Mr. Sheldon, and he actually literally taught us about certain things about those histories and whatnot. So it was there, and I went to I really went to a white elementary school. So we had black teachers in there that would actually teach us things about culture, teach us things about slavery, teach us
Mm-hmm.
things about this and that. Of course, I already learned about that before I went to public school.
Mm-hmm.
So when I tell you what I already know about critical race theory, because I was taught it at a very young age. Now let's distinguish um what the necessity
Mm-hmm.
of it with children. And I could tell you because I was taught it coming from a black perspective all the way up to I was 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So can I ask you a question, Ron?
I was just about to say that. Go ahead, cuz. I was just about to ask him a question. Go ahead.
You say you went to a white school, right? How did them teaching you, including white students, affect your classroom? Did it make those white students feel like, oh my God, my parents did this, my great grandfather did that? Did they make them feel any kind of way, or way towards you, because they were learning about Black history and what Black people had went through?
Mm-hmm.
Did that make you feel? Did that make them feel any way towards you? Did that make them treat you any type of way, or any different than any other student in that school?
Let me explain it this way. What we were taught about ourselves was the true knowledge of ourselves, and it didn't have anything to do with inferiority that would possibly be taught, that is actually taught in public schools, in public schools about the history of slavery. We didn't learn about the history of slavery. We learned about the history of the origin of ourselves, which is the beginning. So when I say critical race theory, it's
Mm-hmm.
critical to know that if you're teaching your children about the true origin of themselves, which we're of the beginning, which we predated everybody, that's what I was being taught. That's critical. And that's race theory that's positive for young Black minds. But if you're going to bring a theory to small children in a integrated school that divides them or that gives them a sense of inferiority or superiority, then that's a critical race theory that we have to look at. It shouldn't be in the schools at that younger age unless it was geared towards something positive. Now, give the children an opportunity when they get ready to go to college or when they get ready to go to high school to choose to whether one. We all, and all of us that went to college, we took some type of Black studies, some type of Black history, some type of cultural class, and that's something that we selected. But don't, and I want y'all to understand this.
Mm-hmm.
What is the benefit of critical race theory to children?
Can I take something real quick? Because I want to
Yes,
touch
sir.
on what you just said. You said wait till they get to college and where they're able to understand. I'm not saying that these are your words verbatim, but you want to get to them the children or the pre-adults to an age where they can understand critical race theory, correct?
Excuse me. Say that
Ron,
again.
you hear what I said? You want to
Say,
get these pre-adults or these pre-teens to a state of mind, whether it's in high school or college, to where they're able to understand critical race theory, correct?
well, this is where our parents come into play.
Mm-hmm.
This is it, as black people, our
We're talking about, hold
parents.
on, we're not talking about, hold on. That's why I want to go to the parents. I want to go to the system, because the parents are not with these kids 8 hours a day. The teachers are. So what I want to get into is the education. The education is where it is. That's why I asked you that question. When you said wait till they get to college, or a certain level of education to where they're able to understand, I wanted to get that clarity so I could say this. We've seen higher learning, right?
Yes.
We've been in schools, or we've know people who've been in schools even in our day when we were
Mm-hmm.
preteens and young adults who did we've met those white kids who had no idea of what their forefathers did, and they were still susceptible to that mentality because they had no idea what Black people went through. I think higher learning is that movie Higher Learning. I don't know if everybody didn't seen it. We on a live broadcast, so I know
Mm-hmm.
some people have seen it, some people haven't. But that movie is a prime example of miseducation or lack of education, because you have a whole bunch of students in a school filled with blacks, whites, Hispanics, Arabians, Asians. All these people are in a melting pot, and they have no idea of what true history is unless they choose that college course to study it.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, college is outside of the basic skill level, that you have, the skill levels that you have to complete in order to graduate. You choose what you want to study, right?
Correct. Your electives, you choose them.
You
Yes.
choose them.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to study African American studies, that's your choice. If you want to study history, that's your choice. So what, by you saying that, okay, let's wait till they get to college, what if they don't want to study anything about American history outside of what they've already learned in high school? What if they choose not to study any of that and just say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna go. If my parents didn't teach me, then cool. If I
Mm-hmm.
don't run into anybody that taught me any better about American history and what black people had to go through and what this country was, I mean, I'm gonna take black people out of it completely. What this country was built off of. Period.
We know. Yeah.
If they choose not to study that, then they have no knowledge about it, right?
Here's the thing with that. White supremacy works both ways. White supremacy purpose is to make sure that the Caucasian race is supreme overall. I don't care if they are supreme 1 inch over everybody else. It's still white supremacy because they still got that advantage. And it works both ways because you have children, you do have white children who are taught that they are inferior through our educational system.
Mm-hmm.
Just the same as you have the educational system all the way up to college, all the way up, all the way up to the highest form of education. It's all white supremacy, and it's designed to make us inferior and them superior. But
How?
you,
How
how?
Are they? My question is: are they taught that they're inferior because they're white or because they're poor?
Well, no, not necessarily, but they do put color on everything. They put it in religion. They put it in education. They put it
Mm-hmm.
in politics. They put it in history. They would change the king of Egypt to look like a white man. They would turn Jesus to look like a white man. They would turn all the inventors to look like white people. So white minds can feel that they are superior.
Mm.
The opposite is the black minds will feel that they are less than.
Mm-hmm.
So what we want to do is we want to understand the truth of the whole dynamics of white supremacy, and we can't have the white supremacists dictating that. Critical race theory is pushed by white supremacists on us. It's not a cadre of black intellectuals that are outside, that are with the mainstream of America that's pushing this. This is not a grassroots movement. This
Mm-hmm.
is a bourgeois movement that's headed by white supremacy. That's what you guys got to understand. Anytime
Mm-hmm.
they push something on us with aggression, it is never good for us.
Hmm. I guess my
So,
question, no, I said,
excuse me.
no, I was going, so, because I'm still confused because it's weird because I'm trying to figure out where you at with it, because it sounds like, so you understand that I guess what the goal is of this particular thing of critical race theory, they're saying that they don't want their kids, and I mean, white folk, some white agendas or platforms are pushing the idea that they are afraid that their children will feel guilty by receiving the history of America. Because I guess I want to make sure we're on the same page. We do agree that they don't teach history in totality currently.
Well,
Because you said you learned it in your day, you know, or rather in our day, because you ain't no older than us like that. they didn't. They're teaching that in totality. They're not teaching that in totality currently in any aspect of school. They're minimizing it.
it's revisional history. That's what they're teaching.
I don't know about that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to ask. I'm gonna be honest with you. I know what I was taught,
Mm-hmm.
and I know, all the way up into and even in college, and education haven't changed that much. It just haven't. It's a bad system, of course, because our boys now can't even read at a 4th grade level and they're in high school. So the public school system is a bad system for us, period. But to focus on something that has to do with race is really taking away from our children learning exactly what it is that they need to know. That's reading, writing, and arithmetic, which we are failing.
Well, I totally disagree.
Orlando, hold on, Orlando. I was pointing at you. I wasn't throwing the thumbs up. I was pointing at you because you got boys.
Yeah. That's why I said I totally disagree. I totally disagree. I think history is a very important subject for our children to know about our culture. And I think that what happens is that they get caught in a wash because they're not teaching real history. They're teaching revisional history. We talked about that the other day. So they take out the parts that they won't make their race look bad. So my son just graduated from college. He went to public school. He graduated with 4.0 GPA. So my kid can read, write, and he do arithmetic very well. So my 22-year-old is going to graduate from college next year with his degree in social work, and he's a 4.0 GPA student. My 19-year-old is a 4.0 GPA student. So I disagree with that because the thing is, we as parents need to focus on education to make our kids better people. We can't rely on the educational system to teach our children anything.
Do your children know their history?
Yes, they do. They know their history.
Do they know the history beyond slavery?
Yes, because I taught them about great inventors. I taught them about things because they don't teach that in school. But I think critical race theory will help white Americans have a view of what's going on in African American culture and why we at the point that we are. It's not about making people feel guilty at all, period. It's about making people knowledgeable and aware about what happened in history so you won't repeat it again.
History is not erased, my brother. History is not erased. History is all. Listen. Mm-hmm. Let me tell y'all something, man. You cannot let the white supremacists dictate a theory for you on race.
They already dictate everything in this country.
Number
what are
one.
you talking about? This country was built on racism. This country is built on taking advantage of people of color. That's what this country was built on.
So you want to do the opposite. So you want to do the opposite of the education, right?
And
so you want to do the opposite of the institution. So what you want to do, you don't want to roll. You just got through outlining about your children through the educational system, which is white supremacy. It is. Because guess what? Those degrees that your children got, they got to take to the white man to get a job.
Not necessarily, because my kids are entrepreneurs. We preach that all day long.
But guess what?
Guess what? I ain't worked for nobody white in 15 years. I own my own business for 15 years, and I sold the business. I'm retired right now.
Do you have a college degree?
Yes, I have 2 college degrees.
Okay. when you had your college degree, where you got your first job?
I was teaching school.
Okay. So here's my point.
Mm-hmm.
The educational system is white supremacy because it educates you to integrate into the system of white supremacy.
How
So,
how is that
okay, so
factual?
now
How is that
I
factual? Tell me
know
some
this.
factual states on what that is, because that's not factual. Education is just expanding your mind to learn something different.
It
So
is the
a college,
absolute
a,
100% truth.
a college degree, a college degree is something that you think a college degree. All it is something that you can complete. All it shows is something that you can complete. That you can complete. Now the paper is fancy toilet paper. That's what I call it. It doesn't mean that you don't that you can exceed with your degree, not unless you take it to a whole nother level.
Look,
So
man,
I
look,
teach
bro,
my
look,
children
bro.
all the time.
The
Don't
college
get caught
degree,
up
the
in that
college
stuff.
degree is the number one parchment that black people use to validate themselves in this system. It is the
Not me.
number one parchment that black
Not at
people
all.
use in this system to get ahead. You can't
No,
tell
Yeah,
me
yeah, we
that
talked
you
about
can't
that.
tell me that
yeah.
Booker T. Washington, W.E.D. Du Bois,
Mm-hmm.
all of these historians, Carter G. Woodson, all of them pushed education for us to get the degree, for you to turn around 150 years later to tell me that, oh no, well, that ain't what we need. No, it's a tool to work within this system. Let's not minimize that. Let's
Mm-hmm.
be real. And guess what? It's even more heavily leaned on right now with black women in order to make because guess what? We all know that black women are in college in droves,
Mm-hmm.
and they get these useless degrees and go into debt just to try to improve their economic and status of social status in this country.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So
see,
so so let me
that's because
I'm
they
here to
trying to
tell you,
achieve.
and I'm here to tell the audience,
Mm-hmm.
it's white supremacy, because guess what? No manner of education that they give you is going to elevate you above them or put you equal to them. It's not
But,
going to happen.
but see, that's why the reason they doing that, because they trying to achieve the American dream. I'm not trying to achieve the American
Which
dream
is
because I
white
have my
supremacy.
own. I'm just saying they trying to achieve the American dream. We had this conversation between us three already about the American dream. The American
Mm-hmm.
dream is not real. It's not real.
Malcolm
It's not
Malcolm
tangible.
X said the American dream is the black man's nightmare.
Yeah.
I
You,
agree.
And it is. Now,
yeah,
I
you're right.
agree.
so if you want to be into the American dream, you might need to try to, hey, that's fine, true and dandy, but I'm going to keep it real 100% right here. We got to understand what white supremacy really is. We have to understand the true meaning of racism. Hell, we got to even understand the true meaning of freedom, justice, and equality, because we don't know that.
Well, what
Equality
is
is
it?
I
not
was at a
Well,
Sandra Bland.
wait.
uh,
What is it? I'm
equality
starting
is
with
not real.
so we're gonna go back because you said quite a few things. So I got to pick your brain on this because you said some great things. A lot of stuff I was like, yeah, damn, you on point. That's
Yeah,
that's a lot of stuff you said. I'm like, yeah, I agree.
I can't argue with it. Yeah.
yeah. I
but I
can't
guess I
either.
got questions on your definitions of some of these terms you're using because you keep
Equality
saying.
is wrong.
Well, my main one, I'm curious to see, I guess, as far as where do you stand on the topic? So, critical race theory, number one,
Critical race theory, black people need to be looking at it critically.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to be looking at it like it's advantageous to us, because nothing white folks ever pushed on us was advantageous. Not even the civil rights movement, and that's history, and y'all know that. Y'all know
Yeah.
integration
Okay. Yeah, you go
actually
ahead. I'm
hurt
sorry.
us.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Yes, I
So,
agree.
So
so what I'm
go
saying
ahead.
is this:
Mm-hmm.
be critical on what's being pushed by white folks, and they are pushing it. Now, you made this political when you brought up conservatives earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to
Mhm.
bring up the liberals. Black people are under the guidance, the direction of the Democratic plantation white liberal. They are.
What's
I
that?
agree.
They've been this
Well,
way for
wait.
70 years.
So for our viewers, because I always, like I said, I like teaching. So step one, what do you mean by liberal? Who is a liberal? What does a liberal mean? What are we talking about when you say liberal?
It's a symbol. It's a
Of
symbol. But it
definition.
is the Democratic Party.
No, what do you mean by it? What does it mean to you? Because you refer to it as Democrat liberals, but what does liberal mean to you?
It don't mean nothing to me.
Well, you
It's
just
just a
said
part
that
of white
Democrats are
supremacy.
liberal, but what does that
It's a
mean? Because you're using
it's a
terms.
part of white supremacy. Because guess
So
what?
what does white supremacy mean to you? What are you talking
White
about?
supremacy is a system that perpetrates power, economics, politics, and social authority over everyone else, particularly you and me. And like I stated, I don't care if white folks have 1 ounce of authority over us. It's still white supremacy because they are. I don't care what type of education you got. I don't care how many Negroes they put in politics, going to Congress. They are still over us. That's
Hey,
white
You,
E,
supremacy.
hey, he sound like you when he said Negro, but no,
yeah, I use that Negro term a lot because I like to
no
put it
Oh,
back into perspective.
perspectives.
no,
Yes.
I want to bring up because we got to stick to the topic here,
Uh-huh.
and I want to bring up Ron's quote or statement on the actual topic when I posted this on Facebook. Ron's, as you can see, his actual response was, "I think she's 100% on target." My response to Ron was, "Please elaborate." He tagged me and he said, "She's right. Schools don't have to try to indoctrinate little white children and make them feel guilty about something that happened 400 years ago just to make the Negro children feel better. In public schools, we learn about every stage of white supremacy against the so-called American Negro, all the way up to the civil rights movement. There is in the need to I'm sorry, there's in the need for critical race theories in primary schools." This is his words. So I wanted to elaborate on that because I want to stay on topic
Mm-hmm.
here because we going all over the place right now. So
No, I feel that. See, I don't have any kids in elementary school anymore. So E, you can answer that question better than I can because my kids went to private school all the way through eighth grade. They went to African American private school, so they learned African American history, and it was taught legitimately, like it should have been.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I feel that if it's taught legitimately and not revisitation of history, I think that it'll be a good thing for everyone. So now, if they're gonna roll history back and cut slavery out and cut all the brutalness that happened in slavery and how white folks treated black people, how white folks people treated the Irish people, uh, Asian people, yeah, hey, there's no need for it. But if we're gonna really talk about history, let's talk about it for real. Let's not sugarcoat the shit. You know,
Okay, well, where were your children taught this real African American history?
they went to a private school.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
there you go.
yeah.
I went to a private school up until
Mm.
I was 9 years old too. Now, so let's deal with that. We're saying the same thing. I'm saying that we should privately teach our children about our history. I'm saying that it's very dangerous for us to latch on to some theory that was fomented by white folks and Negroes coming into the public school sector where the majority of our children are at. So, us as responsible individuals that know that we have to teach the truth, we should do it ourselves and make sure that our children know it from us, not from no white supremacist critical race theory. That's my point. You made my point, brother. You said that your children were taught privately. Who were their instructors? I don't know. But I know I had good instructors. I had instructors that taught Malcolm X. I had instructors that taught that led to the awakening of the Black consciousness in the 60s and the 70s. So let's be critical about something that's being pushed on us instead of going with it as if it's advantageous to us. Nothing they do that they push on us is advantageous to us.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. The welfare wasn't. Integration wasn't.
So let me ask you a question. This is a serious question. You're dealing with children, not adults. We're dealing with children who have a limit learning capacity already. These teachers are teaching them one thing when they go to school. Now,
And that
if
parents saying
if you
something totally
home
different.
if you homeschool your kids, cool. Then you have to worry about what I'm about to say. But you go to school, whether it's private school, public school, and they teach your kids something about American history.
I'm sorry,
You
Cutter.
come home,
Mm.
your kids come home, and you teach them something totally opposite of what their teacher. No matter whether they got to make A's, B's, C's, or D's, even though they have a limited learning capacity, meaning that their brain is only going to take so much out of daily school um um activities, daily school curriculum, their chores at home. All this is filled with their brain. So you're trying to, okay, every time they program your children, you take them home and you trying to deprogram them. I mean, I understand what you're saying, Ron. It sounds good. It sounds real good to say it's going to be easy for me to teach my child the real history of America while they
It's
go to
not.
school.
We don't have to teach the history of America. Let's teach the history of ourselves. Let me
But
break this
they live
down
in
to you.
America, Ron. They
Let me
live in
wait a minute.
America.
Let
They
me
don't live. They don't. Hold on. They don't.
let me
Are they
let
gonna
me
hold on? Hold on. Because you said a lot. They don't live. Are they gonna live with you the rest of their lives? Are they gonna go out in this world and live on their own?
Are they
Are
gonna
they
move back
gonna
to
have to?
Africa?
They
the
gonna hold on. Hold
definition.
on. Hold on. Hold
Mhm.
on. Are they gonna go out into this real world and have to deal with white supremacy and learn about that by themselves, or you gonna teach them at home? Because
You
if you
teach them.
homeschool your children, that's cool. But
Mm-hmm.
You
I'm
teach them.
saying, how much are they gonna able to come? How
You
much
teach them.
are they gonna be able to learn? Because they're not gonna something has to drop off. They're not gonna go to school, then come home and then have to study again outside of football, basketball, whatever extracurricular activities you have them in, band, whatever, with schools and then track or whatever else, and then they got to come home and then learn your lessons too. Get the hell out! Let's be realistic, dog.
Let
Let's
me
be
let me
realistic.
let me.
Is all I'm saying
I'm
here.
finna keep it real. I'm finna keep it real with you right now.
They gonna cancel our ass
The
after this show.
definition. The definition of kindergarten. The Latin is das Kinder, meaning the children. Garden is where you grow and germinate and you put fertilizer. Das Kinder means the children in Latin. White folks know where to plant the seed. We need to know where to plant the seed in the Das Kinder, the children. So you take them at a young age and you plant the seed and it will germinate as long as it's truth, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Yes. So what? The obstacle of white supremacy is in the elementary schools. But if you know the truth, then you teach your children. Of course, we're in an obstacle type place, but guess what? So That ain't nothing. We overcome that with the truth.
What truth?
Don't put obstacles in
Not
the
all the
way
time.
of your
Yeah.
children.
I guess
Just because where you at.
So Ron, I gotta, because this is funny, because I noticed that even with this for the past year, with this topic, critical race theory, it always goes left. Every last study, video, conversation, panel, everybody go through the same
That's
exact
what
ring
it's
around.
designed to do.
Yeah, because it's not what it is, though. The problem is that it's not real. It is not in schools. It ain't never been in no elementary schools, and it is a ad hominem attack that people are using for their own agendas, and they swing and beat the hell out of that because it has nothing to do with what we're actually talking about. What we're talking about is simply this: history being taught in schools in a more detailed fashion.
That's it.
But that's not critical race theory. But they're saying that's what critical race theory is, so they can fight it, and that's a problem because it's still we're still not getting to the point. The point is it's not in schools. It ain't in schools yet. You know, if it's ever gonna be there.
Ron, I think
Ron disappeared.
Oh man, hey, they're gonna cancel
He'll
our
try to
ass,
come
y'all.
back in. No, this is good, man. I like this.
It is. Hey,
I like this.
hey,
'Cause I'm like,
Ron is Farrakhan to the 10th power. He getting this boy.
Where he at?
he coming back. I'm
Oh, hey, whoever watching this live.
It's not too many because we didn't
promote it.
Yeah, we didn't promote it.
Hey,
but it's still gonna be on the channel, so that's what matters the most.
Mm-hmm.
And when they watch this show, they go just like, what the hell?
Yeah, because it definitely go all over the place with this topic because it's not one thing.
Man.
It ain't one thing at all. It's a whole bunch of different things mixed in.
Like I said before, if you're going to talk about critical race theory, let's talk about all the race theories. Let's talk about it all. Let's talk about the complete history, not revisiting of history. Let's talk about all the history so everybody can know and have a balance and know what happened, how America was built. And that's just my whole thing about it. You know, not saying let's cop it up. You know,
I understood where he was coming from as far as but where he was coming from, it was what most parents went through in the 90s, 80s, and whatnot. Fathers, they knew, especially if they were a part of Black Panther Party or something like that. They knew when their kids came home, they had to deprogram them. Like, don't listen to what they were saying, and that's not true. This is what I'm gonna give you. This book, I'm gonna give you that book. You read this book, you read that book. Woo, woo, woo. And it went so on and so on. I'm sorry, y'all.
No, you
it
good.
Went so on and so on. But I mean, it just seems unrealistic to say that we're gonna be this big Black conglomerate of people who are gonna teach their kids ourselves. We've been there, we've done that. Yeah, it's fairy tale line. We've been there, we've done that. Like, at the end of the day, that's why I brought up the fact that your kids are with these people 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
You get the minimal amount of time with your children.
So
who do you think they're gonna listen to?
So my question to you, E, I know you have our nephew is young. So what are they teaching them in school about history? That's what I want to know.
Because they're still in first grade elementary, so they're just introducing them to social studies. Social studies is just an introduction to your environment. They're still trying to learn their states, their zip code, and their cities. So
that's what I thought. Yeah.
Those it's like just getting to know who they are. I can think the only thing that they talked about was what? Oh yeah, they talked about. In my his cousins, they always come over. So in their kindergarten class, they talked about your boy Columbus, and they taught him, the basics. Columbus, crossed
discovered America,
and discovered, and of course they teach him that he discovered America, And I did
Allegedly.
tell him, yeah, he didn't discover something that was already here, the usual. It,
Yeah.
it was it was people already here. So you can't discover something that was already here, basic understanding of that. And
Right.
that's
So
what, that was what I left it. I left it simple.
yeah. So he told me a funny story. He was at soccer practice, a track practice. I'll let you take over.
Oh yeah, you talking about the little girl.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh yeah, so yeah, I was at my son's track practice, and it's a pretty wide demographic kids. One of the kids, little white girl, she came up to me and she was like, "Hey, coach, man, I asked her how her day was because she always tell me, and she was like, man, we did this, and we did this, and we learned the song, and she started singing a song. Some I didn't. It was something about going around a mountain, up and down a hill, or something like that. And I was like, what song is that? She was like, I thought you know it. You know, it goes such and such around the mountain, down the hill. And she's singing. She into it, everything. She's excited. And I was like, I still don't know what song you talking about. And she said, well, because it's supposed to be like a secret message, like a secret escape song through the Underground Railroad. And I figured that you would know what the message was.
What?
I said, I'm thinking to myself, I got racially profiled by a 5-6-year-old. She say I'm supposed to know the secret to the Underground Railroad song.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Oh,
I thought that was hilarious though.
I thought it was too.
And she was
Oh,
serious.
say Negro, you supposed to know what it is because y'all all look the same to me.
What's the secret? I know you know the secret. I don't know that secret.
Oh,
Yeah, so yeah, that was hilarious though. I thought that was
but
really entertaining.
but at the end of the day, I think that
Ron Tay
once
got cut
we,
off, so he said he's reclicking the link so he can come back in.
Oh, okay.
I think once at the end of the day is I've been to over 50 countries. I've seen different cultures, and I think that if we learn about each other's culture, that we are more sensitive to each other, and that we understand each other a little bit better.
Hmm.
So that's why I feel that you know history is very important and culture is very important to people, so you can understand the next person that you meet or a different race because different cultures they have different things. So for instance, like you go to Mexico. They got different cultures there. You don't know. You have no clue what their cultures are until you experience it. So I think
Mm-hmm.
experience is a big teacher of other people's culture. And then you open up your eyes. So that's why I encourage my kids to travel all the time because they're at the age that they can travel. So when I go somewhere and they can come with me and I'm going out the country, I take them with me so they can understand what's really going on in other people's culture. Because I think
Mm-hmm.
that's very important to open up your eyes to see how blessed you are, and then you understand other people's culture and why they act the way they act. I think that's important. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. And to I know it's going on an hour. This is our cutoff time for
Mm-hmm.
our lives.
Yeah.
So I think we got a lot accomplished, a lot of things discussed. At the end of the day, I definitely agree with, because at the end of the day, this is one system. I understand Ron Henry's theory of, oh, you teach your own kids, da 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 da. But at the end of the day, taking out that type of history basically removes how America was built.
Yes.
At
Yes.
the end of the day, nobody wants to understand. I mean, wants to relive the harsh realities of how this country was built, and I think that's the real issue.
Yeah.
I believe that's why they're trying to remove it from the curriculum, and they don't want it, even though it's not there yet. But they're like they're fearful of it being in that curriculum because, like, hey, look, we don't need Black history. If they want to get to college and they want to, discover that type of stuff for themselves, which is basically what he was describing,
Mm-hmm.
what we've been doing. You had to
Yeah.
get to college and you had to study, go into Black studies or a Black history course, whatever that college has to offer. Because
Mm-hmm.
all college people don't understand it too. All colleges just don't offer a Black History course.
Nope.
Depending
Because they
on
don't
what
care
school
about
you
it.
go to, they don't care about that type of shit.
Nope. Yep. Because you
Um,
are you 1/5 of a dude still to them.
Mm-hmm. Say three
so
fifths.
3/5, yeah.
Yep.
I gave us a little bit more. 3/5 of the dude, yeah.
so
Dogs
if
and
they
cattle
don't,
are more important than you still.
if you don't learn anything about American history, you don't understand how this country was built. This country was built out of slavery. It
Mm-hmm.
was.
Yeah. Yes.
It was. That's the truth. Get over it. You did it.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't do it. You did it. This is what your forefathers did. This is the program that they had in place. And they built this country off of it. And now in 2021, 22, you want it to be erased from history. No, it don't work like that.
Nope.
Your kids going your great grandchildren gonna have to know how this country was built. It was built out of the backs of slaves. And
And I,
the slaves, the offspring of those slaves are living in this country today. They are living in this country today. And they built a lot of stuff. They did a lot of stuff. Um the rapes, the victims of rapes, the slaves who were raped, they understand how all these light skinned people around here, all these mixed breeds and all these what we call the Rottweiler theory. We won't get into that.
oh my goodness. Oh,
All these
hey,
different
we ain't
breeds
got
of
enough
black
time to go
people,
into that.
all these different breeds of black people are walking around here is because of that theory that they're trying to erase from the curriculum.
Yep.
So, that's my thing. Hey, like, leave it in there. If it ain't first of all, it ain't even been in there in the first place. Like he
Nope.
said, like you made that clear. It's not even in the curriculum as it is.
And
They're
and
just trying to erase it from coming into the curriculum. Like,
and
let's
within
not
the
even
curriculum,
have it in there.
ain't about this much.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You know
So that's my take. That's all I got to say about it.
what you got, E?
It's pretty. It's funny. I just like I said, this whole topic is. It just feel like you're going in circles because you're using a name or rather a title for something and then insert whatever you want into it that you're gonna fight against. It's like I said, it just keeps being one of those things. I'm gonna use this name as a cover up, but I'm gonna infuse it with all of my agenda so I can fight against that. But you still don't ever talk about the actual topic at hand, which is simply, hey, we just want a more detailed history about America. That's it.
They don't want that. They don't
Just
want that. They don't, yeah.
no, that's movie of history. In the narrative of history, you got these little kids. All of us went through it. You find out about history. Ooh, do you know what part you played in the movie? I don't know. You were a white man. So what does that mean to be a white man? Oh, well, that means that you were a master and you were on top and you were accomplished and you created and
How many
succeeded.
how many Catholic schools or white schools can sit through Rosewood
Not that many.
Not that many. I'm
without
a
feeling
star.
a certain type of
Because
way?
they don't want to be,
I'm
and
a
that's the
star.
catch. They don't want to be portrayed in the negative light, even though that's not you. That's just a character in the flick or the narrative or the history. That ain't even you. But because you identify yourself as that particular group of people, that's the mask you want to wear. When you want to wear that mask, you want to take all the glory, all the accomplishments and
Preach
achievements.
on, preacher.
But
Preach on.
because I was thinking about this, how weird it is. It's basically like you want to play. Boy, you silly. It's basically like you want to play all of the positive roles. I want all of the successes that Mark McGuire had. I want to have everything that your boy Michael who that
Phelps.
Johnson did. Johnson, before they found
Oh,
out about the
oh,
steroids.
Michael Johnson. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson.
You
Yeah.
want to have all the success of Ben Johnson. You want Sammy Sosa. You want all this greatness
But
until
but nobody want to be Barry Bonds.
No, you don't want to be Barry. And if you do want to be
Come on,
Barry
man.
Bonds, if you want to be Barry Bonds, you want all the glory, but you don't want any of the failures and the criticism that he obtained at the end of his career because they found out he was doing something illegal. But it's like you still
Allegedly.
want to wear the jersey. I still want to wear the jersey, but you can't talk about me if I wear the jersey though. You can only admit what I do on the good side, but you can't, accept what I did on the back end. And be like, how you gonna tell me how not to tell you about the jersey you wearing? You wearing the damn jersey that means we can criticize everything about you and what you promoting. But they don't want that. They want to see themselves in this light of, hey, we're great and we're wonderful. And I know there were some bad things that happened, but you're not allowed to talk about it because you're going to make me feel guilty. And if I have more guilt than you have more guilt, that means there's an inequality of guilt. And you Negroes are supposed to have all the guilt. We're not supposed to have none of the guilt or minimal guilt. So if it ever feels like that we got more guilt than you got, then we going to fight. Because we ain't supposed to have no negative stuff that comes upon us because we're like your boy Ron said, he is correct. Yes, we know it's a white supremacist system, but that's the catch. That still don't make it fair.
But that's what I'm saying. We knew that before we even started the whole system. We knew that we wasn't here in a black supremacist system.
No, not at all. Because we were slave labor.
Well, we wouldn't slave labor.
We wouldn't
but
slave labor.
They say our race relatives were
slave
if
labor.
you identify yourself with a certain race, and that's what you can say that they did, but you didn't do it. That's a whole nother topic.
That's a whole nother topic. That didn't make me feel no kind of way. I'm still successful in life. Let's kick
it. Yeah.
Oh man.
That's a whole nother topic though.
That's a whole other topic, yes.
It's a great live, fellas.
Great show. Reverend Professor Edwards in the building.
Yeah,
hey,
we appreciate
Ron said he'll connect with us on another
episode.
He I don't know if his service fell out, but he said he couldn't hear us very well, and I guess he hit a bad area or something like that. But
okay.
If he tried to lie, I got the screenshot for his ass. So
okay. We'll bring him in on another one because, like I said, I do like him. He got a lot of information.
So, that's why I wanted to bring him in.
Yeah. Appreciate it, Ron. Appreciate it, Ron. We're gonna bring you back again, brother. So we appreciate it, man. And tune in for additional episodes of Concrete Reality TV. We're gonna close up shop, and man, y'all have a good evening.
Peace.
Peace.